So guys, let me give you an idea here about what happened, all right? I'm gonna tell you exactly what happened and why was this done to me. You look at a society like this one, places in the so-called free world. You have about, in a place like Canada, let's say Toronto, how many people out there are not working? How many people out there survive off their welfare check? How many people out there cannot get a professional job because they lack whatever they lack? The talent, the patience, I don't know, they're lazy. So you have a group of people which make up, let's say, 5% of the population, for example, or 10%. This group of people, if they have no function in society, if they don't have a job or something to long for or a goal every morning when they wake up and open their eyes, if they don't have something occupying their mind, a goal or a job, what are they going to focus their energy on? There's going to be a lot of energy defocused here. And that energy is going to be used either on each other, create problems, or focus it on the powers that be. So when you have a lot of these people laying around in a society with nothing to do, what's the best thing to do? Take it as a baseball stadium, a baseball game. How many people can a baseball stadium, when a baseball game is going on, house? You have batters, you have catchers, the team itself that plays, referees, people working serving food, security, the audience, which is 10,000, 20,000, 30,000 people. So altogether, let's say, the whole baseball stadium and everybody working in it and everybody as a spectator. The camera, crew, everything, everybody, all these functions, all these jobs are there in 3-4 hours with something to do, right? It's a baseball game. Now, what is the most important element in that game, in that stadium? What is one thing, if you take out of that game, nothing will function. The people won't come, the players won't play, the referees won't have anything to do. Even the people selling food won't sell the food because people won't come and watch. There's only one thing that the whole thing would not function without. Everything else, you can replace it. What is it? The baseball. That baseball. What's the function of that baseball? You gotta pick a baseball that's really strong, because you don't want to hit it 2 or 3 times and the ball to pretty much rip in half. So you have to pick a really strong baseball that would take a lot of beating. What's the function of the baseball? It gets pitched, it gets batted, and then it gets caught. And then all over again, all over again, and all over again. So those 3 actions that are done with that baseball, what have they created? They created jobs and goals for 50,000 people. They created jobs for the team and everybody that works in the stadium, and they created another 50,000 spectators to watch. It's a goal. It's something for these people to focus their energy on. Now, let's just say you take out the baseball. There's no baseball anymore. What would happen to all these people? There'll be no game to play and no game to watch and no hot dogs to serve. So these 50,000 people, now that there's no ball anymore, what do they do with their time? You know what they're going to do with their time? They're going to focus their time either on each other or on the powers that be. Because they have nothing to do, no goal, no job, no earnings, nothing. Guys, I've been the fucking baseball of Toronto for the last 22 years. How do you get a baseball to take all that beating and not know it? You pick a bright, strong-spirited, genetically made up like this person, that from the time that they're an orphan, you grab them and you design a special life around them, not to know the difference between being kissed and being hit. Not physically. It's a form of mind control. Because that baseball has to be strong enough. It's got to have such a strong spirit that throughout all this batting and catching and pitching, it's not going to die out and rip in half after the first game. So what do you do in a society like this one here, where there's a lot of spectators, a lot of wannabe players, wannabe spectators, and wannabe hot dog vendors, and wannabe referees? The ones that really cannot accomplish these jobs. They can't get them because they don't have the talent, they're lazy, they don't speak the language. What do you do with so many people sitting around collecting welfare checks? How do you give them function? How do you give them reason to get out there every day and exert their energies on something? You create a baseball. Once you have a baseball, then you can give them a goal every day to get out there, pitch, bat, catch, watch that baseball, film that baseball, whatever it is that you want to call it. Now, the people watching in the stadium don't really know that ball, what it looks like. They don't know whether that ball is Spalding or whatever the mate is. They don't know the exact size of it. All they know is that there's a ball, it's white, and it's being pitched, batted, and caught. And a game is being designed around it to primarily give function to all these people, to function in society. So how do you do that with a human being? You get a guy like me to be brainwashed from the time that he's a kid in an evil fucking family, to be prepped into a world he's gonna eventually enter. But the transition phase from being from within this family till the phase where he's going to get microchipped and enter a world on the outside that's close to the kind of world that his family gave him, for him not to notice the difference. So this special designed world that was designed for this person, that later on when he got microchipped in this country and started to be used as a fucking baseball slowly, because there's a lot of deception going around here. You have to kind of caress the baseball here and there in order to hit it once, and then the next year you have to hit it twice, hit it slowly, hit it fast, don't hit it too hard. So it's a tactical science being applied on that baseball, not to realize that it's been used as a fucking baseball for the last 22 years. And through that baseball, you've created a world. Batters, pitchers, spectators, referees, everything. Otherwise, without that baseball, they couldn't function in real society because they don't possess the talent to be doctors, to be lawyers, to be, actors, to be whatever it is. They don't have the talent, they're lazy, they like to collect a welfare check. So what do? You give them a small function, which is become a batter, a catcher. A batter only bats the ball once, twice, or three times, then he goes away. That ball then will be in the hands of the catcher, or in the hands of the pitcher, or flying in the air from being batted and caught by one of the people in the audience. So the ball pretty much doesn't spend too much time with one particular person. But the ball is the center of this game that all these people are coming in to do a small function, do their job, then get the fuck out of there. So spend about a minute around that ball and then leave. So basically, everything that's around the ball, you have to get your hands dirty. So when people come in to do a small part with that ball for a minute, they get their hands dirty quick, they serve their function, their goal, they go back to their homes, they got their job done. They get paid, they get to live a good life. Now the ball's gotta stay dirty the whole fucking time for 3 hours. Because it's being caught, it's being pitched, it's being batted, it's being watched. Until that ball opens its eyes one day and realizes that it's being used as a ball. And in the city of Toronto, over the course of the last 22 years, about 100,000 jobs were created because of the ball when it comes out of its house, for it to meet these people in establishments rather than the real people. So every establishment out there, a carbon copy was made of it. So if I go to North York General Hospital, it had its own staff, real nurses, real doctors, real patients, not when the baseball shows up. When the baseball shows up, a carbon copy crew shows up that's not of any profession, just masquerades as being a doctor or a nurse or whatever, for them to apply a special science, which is batting, pitching, and catching that baseball inside. Why? For that baseball to stay tired and drained, for it not to be able to function, but for its function to keep being used as a fucking ball, as a battery. By the time this baseball goes through all these establishments, gets nothing accomplished, demotivated, miserable, it comes back home, beaten so many times, it sleeps, it recharges its battery, and then the next day, it has enough battery life in it to come out and be used as a fucking piñata again, until the same thing happens over and over and over and over again, with getting nowhere, not moving forward, not getting anything out of the whole game. Everybody else does, but the ball doesn't. That's the whole point. That's how the game functions. By the ball being enslaved and keep on getting beaten up, beaten up, beaten up. But the people out there that are doing the beating would tell themselves, you know what? I'm not doing much. Somebody else would have done it if I haven't done it. All I'm doing is getting in there for 2-3 minutes, catching that ball, throwing it back, and then I'm leaving. Somebody else takes care of the ball. Now this action is being done by over 5,000 to 10,000 people daily. By pacing, bumping into me, talking loud around me, until the next crew comes in and does the same thing to me. So what I go through all day long is what you do to me in that second. It's being done to me 24/7. The same thing, but by different people, which are a carbon copy of the real life that's out there, that's designed and specifically made up for this baseball to be able to get pitched, batted, and caught in every single establishment that it goes into, and to give these people a reason to have a job. 100,000 jobs were created out of this. A whole fake industry was created in the city of Toronto for the last 22 years. A carbon copy, a shitty carbon copy of the real city of Toronto and its real function and its real people was created for that carbon copy to take place and replace all these jobs when this ball comes out. For it to experience the team that's gonna pitch it, bat it, and catch it. Not the team that's gonna grab it and make it relax and feel better and move forward and stop being a fucking ball that's being batted 24/7. That's the whole point why you create a fake world like this to someone like me that was brought up in a way to accept it, until he put 2 and 2 together and got off the heavy duty drugs that they almost forced him on for 20 years, obviously, from all the batting I was getting outside. So now in the city of Toronto, the secret life that went on for about 22 years behind the backs of a lot of people out there that don't know about this, not the owners and the CEOs of all the establishments and the directors, they all know exactly what's going on. That's why when I show up and this special crew shows up to replace the real crew over there, these people know all about it. The crime that everybody committed, they're a part of it. To know and understand exactly what was going on in their establishments when they told the regular employees that you have to go on vacation or you have to leave for the day. For whatever reason, bullshit they gave them. For this carbon copy world to exist. So if it wasn't from the baseball, 100,000 people right now would be unemployed. They have nothing to do, no goal, just a welfare check, Kraft dinner and cheese, and wiping their ass with their fucking hands because they can't afford toilet paper. All that was created out of that baseball. Because nothing in that baseball field would function without that baseball. And that's exactly what's been done to me over the last 22 years. But you have to know where the baseball is to follow it. You have to see it. How do you do that? With a microchip. Once you chip that ball, it's got nowhere to go. Everywhere, every move it makes, whether it's that way or this way, it appears on the radar of all these people surrounding the baseball in order to give it a shot or catch it or pitch it or bat it. Whether they're people or cars or workers, so-called employees in establishments that don't know how to flip a fucking burger properly. So that's the whole game. That's exactly what happened. Now that I'm awakened, and now that I refuse to be used as a baseball, I'm gonna get these microchips out, and then I'm gonna live a real life in society. Whether the people that did this to me like it or not, they're not gonna have a choice. Because I'm gonna do it right. And I'm gonna find the right doctor and remove these microchips out of my body. And I'm gonna do everything properly, the legal way. Have a good night.